Exodus chapter 23, Justice and Mercy. You shall not make false statements, and do not join hands with the wicked by being a malicious witness. You shall not follow the majority when they do evil. When you give evidence in a lawsuit, do not side with the majority to pervert justice. You shall not be partial to the poor in a lawsuit. If you see your enemy's ox or donkey going astray, take it back to him. When you see the donkey of a man who hates you falling under its load, do not pass by, but help him to raise it up. You shall not deny justice to any of your poor in a lawsuit. Keep away from falsehood in the law court. You shall not slay the innocent or the just, nor shall you acquit the guilty. And you shall not take a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the clear-sighted and perverts the case of the innocent. You shall not oppress a resident alien. You know what it is to be a resident alien, for that is what you were in the land of Egypt. Great festivals. For 6 years you will sow your fields and reap their produce, but in the 7th year you will let the land rest and lie fallow. The poor may eat what it produces, and what they leave the wild animals will eat. It will be the same for your vineyard and your olive grove. For 6 days you shall work, but on the 7th day you shall rest, so that your ox and your donkey may also rest, and the son of your slave girl and the resident alien as well may have a breathing space. Pay attention to all that I enjoin on you. You shall not call upon other gods. Do not let their names be heard on your lips. 3 times each year you shall celebrate a feast in my honor. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread as I commanded you, and eat unleavened bread for 7 days at the appointed time in the month of Abib, for it was then that you left Egypt. And do not come into my presence empty-handed. You shall keep the feast of the harvest with the first fruits of what you sowed in your fields. You shall keep the feast of ingathering at the end of the year, when you gather in the fruits of your labor from the fields. 3 times during the year all your males shall present themselves before the Lord God. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, nor let the fat of my feast remain until morning. The choicest of the first fruits of your soil you will bring to the house of the Lord your God. You shall not boil a kid in its mother's milk. God's angel to prepare the way. See, I am sending an angel before you to keep you safe on the way and bring you to the place I have made ready. Be on your guard in his presence and listen to him. Do not rebel against him, for he will not pardon your wrongdoing, because my name is in him. If you indeed listen to him and do what I command you, I will become enemy to your enemies and an opponent to your opponents. My angel will go before you and bring you to the land of the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Canaanites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. All these I will destroy. You shall not bow down before their gods or serve them or act according to their ways. Rather, you will destroy them utterly and smash their sacred stones. If you serve the Lord your God, he will bless your food and your water, and I will keep sickness away from you. No woman among you will miscarry or be barren in your land. I will give you your full term of life. Now I will send my terror ahead of you and throw into confusion all the people you encounter. I will make all your enemies turn and flee before you. I will send hornets ahead of you to drive the Hivites, the Canaanites, and the Hittites out of your sight. I will not drive them out in a single year, lest the land become a desert and the wild beasts increase and molest you. I will drive them out before you little by little until your numbers increase and you are able to take possession of the land. I will fix your boundaries from the Sea of Reeds to the Sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness to the Euphrates River. For I will deliver into your power the inhabitants of the land, and you will drive them out before you. You shall make no treaty with them or with their gods. They shall not live in your land, lest they lead you to sin against me, for the worship of their gods will surely be a snare to you. Exodus chapter 24, the sealing of the covenant. Then he said to Moses, Go up to the Lord, you, Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, with 70 of the elders of Israel, and let them worship from a distance. Moses alone shall approach the Lord, but not the others, nor shall the people go up with him. Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the norms. The people replied with one voice, Everything that the Lord has said we shall do. Moses wrote down all the words of the Lord, then rose early in the morning and built an altar at the foot of the mountain with 12 memorial stones for the 12 tribes of Israel. He then sent a young man from among the sons of Israel to offer burnt offerings and sacrifice bullocks as peace offerings to the Lord. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and with the other half of the blood he sprinkled the altar. He then took the book of the covenant and read it in the hearing of the people. They said, All that the Lord has said we shall do and obey. Moses then took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, saying, Here is the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you, in accordance with all these words. Then Moses went up with Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and the 70 elders of Israel. They saw the God of Israel. Under his feet there was what seemed like a pavement of sapphire, clear as the sky itself. But he did not let his hand overpower these noblemen from the sons of Israel. They looked on God and lived to eat and drink. The Lord said to Moses, Come up to me on the mountain and stay there. I will give you the slabs of stone, the law and the commandment which I have written for the instruction. So Moses arose with his attendant Joshua and went up the mountain of God. Moses had said to the elders, Remain here until we come back to you. See, Aaron and Hur are with you. Let whoever has a dispute to settle go to them. When Moses went up the mountain, a cloud covered it. The glory of the Lord settled on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it for 6 days. On the 7th day the Lord called to Moses from within the cloud. To the Israelites, as they looked on, the glory of the Lord appeared like a consuming fire on the top of the mountain. As Moses entered the cloud and went up the mountain, Moses stayed on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. Psalm chapter 33. God's providence looks after the world. Rejoice in the Lord, you who are just. Praise is fitting for the upright. Give thanks to the Lord on the harp, making melody to him with 10-stringed lyre. Sing to him a new song, play the strings skillfully with shouts of joy. For truthful is the Lord's word, and worthy of trust is all his work. The Lord loves justice and righteousness. The earth is full of his kindness. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, the breath of his mouth formed their starry host. He gathered the waters of the sea into a heap and stored the deep in cellars. Let the whole earth fear the Lord. Let the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. For he spoke and it came to be. He commanded and it stood forth. The Lord frustrates the plans of the nations and brings to nothing the people's designs. But his plan stands forever and his heart's design through all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen for his inheritance. The Lord looks down from heaven and sees the whole human race. For where he sits, he watches all those who dwell on earth. He who fashions every heart observes all their deeds. A king is not saved by a powerful army, nor is a warrior rescued by his great strength. Do not think that a horse will assure you victory, for all its great strength it cannot save. But the Lord's eyes are upon those who fear him, upon those who trust in his loving kindness to deliver them from death and preserve them from famine. In hope we wait for the Lord, for he is our help and our shield. Our hearts rejoice in him, for we trust in his holy name. O Lord, let your love rest upon us, even as our hope rests on you. Matthew chapter 21, verse 23 to 46. The authority of Jesus questioned. Jesus had entered the temple and was teaching when the chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the elders of the people came to him and asked, "What authority have you to do all this? Who gave you this authority?" Jesus answered them, "I will also ask you a question, only one. And if you give me an answer, then I will tell you by what authority I do these things. Was John's ministry of baptism from God, or was it merely something human?" They began to argue among themselves. If we answer that the baptism of John was from God, he will say, "Why then did you not believe him?" And if we say, the baptism of John was merely something human, we will turn the people against us, since all hold John as a prophet. So they answered Jesus, "We do not know." And Jesus said to them, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things." The parable of the two sons. Jesus went on to say, "What do you think of this? A man had two sons. He went to the first and said to him, 'Son, go and work in my vineyard today.' And the son answered, 'I will not go.' But later he thought better of it and went. Then the father went to the second and said the same thing. The son replied, 'I will go, sir,' but he did not go. Jesus then asked, "Which of the two sons did what the father wanted?" They answered, "The first." And Jesus said to them, "Truly I say to you, publicans and prostitutes are going into the kingdom of God ahead of you. For John came to show you the way of goodness, but you did not believe him. Yet the publicans and the prostitutes did. You were witnesses of this, but you neither repented nor believed him." The parable of the wicked tenants. Listen to another parable. There was a landowner who planted a vineyard. He put a fence around it, dug a hole for the winepress, built a tower, leased the vineyard to tenants, and then went to a distant country. When harvest time came, the landowner sent his servants to the tenants to collect his share of the harvest. But the tenants seized his servants, beat one, killed another, and stoned the third. Again the owner sent an even larger group of servants, but they treated them in the same way. Finally he sent his son, thinking, "They will respect my son." But when the tenants saw the son, they said to each other, "This is the heir, let us kill him, and his inheritance will be ours." So they seized him, threw him out of the vineyard, and killed him. "Now what will the owner of the vineyard do with the tenants when he comes?" They said to him, "He will bring these wretched men to a wretched end and lease the vineyard to others who will give him his share at the proper time." And Jesus answered, Have you never read what the scriptures say? The stone which the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. This was the Lord's doing, and we marvel at it. Therefore I say to you, the kingdom of heaven will be taken from you and given to a people who will bear its fruits. Whoever falls on this stone will be broken to pieces, and he on whom it falls will be crushed. When the chief priests and the Pharisees heard these parables, they realized that Jesus was referring to them. They would have arrested him, but they were afraid of the crowd who regarded him as a prophet.